freight train, run so fast. Freight train, run so fast. Please don't say what train I'm on, they won't know what route I've gone. Hi, welcome to another edition of You and Your Uke, and this week we're going to look at a particular method of fingerstyle picking. So that song, Freight Train, was written by Elisabeth Cotten, and just a little bit about Elisabeth Cotten. Elisabeth Cotten was a very, very influential figure in the development of fingerstyle guitar. So she was born in 1893. At the age of 9 she borrowed her brother's banjo, and by the age of 12 she was working as a maid. She saved some of her wages to buy herself her first guitar. She bought the right-handed guitar because that's kind of what was most often up there for sale, but she was left-handed. So she developed a fingerstyle playing where she played with the guitar strung, if you like, the wrong way round. That is to say, the bass strings of the guitar were nearest the floor and the treble strings were nearest her head. So she had to work out a style by which her thumb played the melodies and her fingers coped with the bass. That's completely the reverse of how most people think of playing fingerstyle. So by the age of 25 she'd given up playing the guitar to concentrate on being a wife and a mother, apart from occasional performances in church. And then she began a recording career at the age of 68, and she was quite a remarkable woman. Look her up on YouTube because there are examples of her playing, or read about her on the internet. She was a huge influence on the 60s folk style playing, so people like Bob Dylan, Joan Baez. Joan Baez actually recorded a version of Freight Train. Were very, very much influenced by her, and of course that line leads down through people like Paul Simon, James Taylor, to more current singer-songwriters. So she's a very important figure. This video I'm going to show you a way of adapting her style of playing for a right-handed 4-string ukulele. Of course on the guitar you have 3 bass strings and 3 treble strings. On the uke we don't have that. So her playing revolved around an alternating bass on those bass strings, and we're going to look at keeping an alternating pattern just on these 2 strings, string 4 and string 3, which is I'm saying is not actually they're not bass strings. One of them is, the other one isn't, but that's what we're going to do. So we're going to look at that, and on top of that there's chordal playing as well, and then on top of that there's melody playing. We're not going to look at all of those 3 things together in this video. We're going to concentrate on the bass line and the chordal pick. In order for us to do that, we need to zoom in and come a bit closer so you can see what's going on. Okay. So we've zoomed in tight here to the ukulele. We'll zoom in even further in a moment, but just so that you can see the whole of the fretboard and the body of the uke. So in terms of any style of finger picking, it is a precise movement where you know what each finger is going to be doing and what string they're going to play. It is not a matter of kind of waggling your fingers around and just randomly shoving them onto the strings to see what happens. It is kind of a very precise thing to do. And so your general hand position should be as close as possible to the strings without actually touching them. So if I put a C chord on here, my hand position will be somewhere here. So very close to the strings, minimal movement in order to connect with them. If I try and play with my hand out here, it sounds clumsy and awkward. It looks clumsy and awkward, and it won't serve your playing style any good whatsoever. So learn to keep your hands close to the strings without actually touching them unless you want to. Practice that hand position. If you want to anchor your hand, maybe do it with your little finger on the soundboard here. And that comes on to what fingers are working what strings. Well, in cotton style picking, your thumb, and you can see on this I'm actually wearing a thumb pick. Your thumb manages strings 4 and 3. Your first finger manages string 2, and your second finger manages string 1. So if I put a C chord on here, in order to practice that pick, we're just going to work with one chord to start with before we look at what's going on the left hand. So I'll show you the chord that we're going to play. I'll just come in a little bit here, and it's a chord which is sometimes called a C5. There is your regular C chord. I'm going to swap that third finger for my little finger, and I'm going to put my third finger next to it behind the third fret of the second string. This is a chord which is sometimes called a C5, and we have 2 G notes and 2 C notes. So with all of the work I'm going to do with the right hand, that's the chord that I've got on in the left hand. You're not going to see it because I'm now going to stop the video again and zoom into the right hand. Okay. So cotton picking is all based on what the thumb does, and the thumb alternates between strings 4 and 3. Remember, we've got that C5 chord on, so I'm not fretting either of these, they're just open. And what's important with this is you should be able to learn to let your thumb do this without you thinking about it. So you could carry on talking as I'm doing now with you. You could perhaps recite your 7 times table. 1 7 is 7, 2 7s are 14, 3 7s are 21, 4 7s are 28, 5 7s are 35, 6 7s are 42, etc. You might be able to quote Shakespeare. Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt Thor and resolve itself into a Jew, or that the everlasting had not fixed his cannon against self-slaughter. You know, anything you can do, you should be able to do while your thumb is doing this and not thinking. So your first point of practice is just to keep this steady, like a clock, regular, without needing to think about it. Because you're going to have lots to think about of notes that fit in around it. And I'll show you. So I've still got that C5 chord on. I'm going to slow that pick right down. Still just with the thumb. Going string 4, string 3, string 4, string 3, string 4, string 3. Now in between those notes, I'm going to play these other two, remembering that string 2 is being managed by finger 1 and string 1 is being managed by finger 2. Here's the pick. You're picking 4, 2, 3, 1. When you've got that regular, speed it up a little, but only when you've got it regular. Okay, let's have a look at that pick using some chords. Okay, here we are again, so you can see the whole of the neck. Reminding you of that pick, so we're picking string 4, 2, 3, 1. And this time I've just got a straight C chord on. Let's change to an F. To a G. A little hiccup there, so I'll play that again. C. F. G. C. Okay, so we've zoomed in tight again to the uke so you can see the right hand. I've put my C5 chord back on. What we've been doing is picking 4, 2, 3, 1. But we could mix that order up a little just to give us some variation and give us another way to pick. I wouldn't continually chop and change it in songs, but it gives you another style for maybe a different song or a different part of the song. So we could go 4, this time 1, 3, 2. We could also change the order of these two strings. So instead of starting on the 4, we can start on string 3, still keeping that alternating pattern going. So in this time it's 3, 4. So in that pattern we're going 3, 2, 4, 1. And another variation is to play like this. I'll play it to you and see if you can figure out what's going on. Did you get it? 4 and 1 together, 2, 3, 2, 4 and 1 together. And of course, you can play these picks changing chords at the same time. They're just different ways of adapting that basic Cotten pick and giving more variety, more interest to your playing for yourself and also for your listener. Okay, let's have a think about what we've learned today. So, to sum up, today we've looked at Elisabeth Cotten's style of picking, how we can adapt that for a 4-string uke. We've looked at a basic version of that pick and some alternatives for that pick. We've looked at using that pick with different chords, C, F and G. And so what have you got to practice for the next session, where we will look at some more intricate work on this style of picking? Well, firstly, your bass patterns, and as I said in the video, you have to get those down so you don't have to think about, because you have lots more to think about. Alright, so even if it's just playing with nothing in the left hand and just practicing that, so your thumb can do it without you thinking about what you're doing, nice and steady and at different speeds maybe. That's the first thing to practice. Then you can practice all of the different styles of pick. I would stick to one at a time, don't mix them up. So maybe practice that at different speeds. Practice the different varieties of that pick, and then practice using all of those varieties with chords. If you've mastered all of that, maybe take a simple 3-chord song, saying something like You Are My Sunshine, and see if you can use those picks to play that song. So, you are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are grey. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. That's plenty to be getting on with. I will see you soon. Enjoy it, and we'll look at some more complex stuff around the style of Cotten picking when I see you next. Okay, bye for now.